Hi, I'm Xiao. This presentation is given by Xiao, Zio, Chenfan. Today we are going to give out some ideas about story, Brave New World. By Huxley, one of the most brilliant and induced works of literature ever written. Before we start talking about the story itself, we would like to talk about the background information. What is utopia and what is dystopia? As all we know, utopia usually refers to the impossible ideal society, while dystopia is an unpopular and frightening hypothetical community or society opposite to the ideal society. These two concepts are based on the impact of science and technology on society, and seems to be independent of each other. But actually, utopia and dystopia are interrelated and intertransferable. In historical view, dystopia is a kind of anxiety birthed based on utopia. It is not the extreme limited of people's dreamed future about technology determining society. Also in Brave New World, like in 1984, the story gives a potential way how utopia could collapse and transfer to dystopia, walking from one limited to another. The story is set around the 26th century. At that time, mankind has regarded henceforth as God. As for large-scale production of workers, the same method of biological production began to be used in the production of exactly the same human being, because the rulers believed that this could increase productivity. Babies are completely cultured in test tube and powered out the liberty. They don't need books, language, or fertility at all. Responsible sex has become a legitimate entertainment for people to paralyze themselves. When there are emotional problems, they are paralyzed with soma. The so-called family love and religion have become historic terms. The motto of society is common ownership, unity, and stability. The fictional world in Brave New World shows many features of dystopia. As we know, life, information, independent thought, and freedoms are restricted. Laws of individualism, citizen comfort to uniform expectation, individuality and disorder are bad. Citizens live in a state of dehumanism. Citizen has fear of the outside world, and citizens live in a dehumanism state. And then we will talk about the first three features as the most important ones. The first feature is information independent thought, and freedom are restricted. Well, how to interpret this sentence? All the information people receive every day will be controlled by the government. They don't want people to have different ideas. A stable high-tech society does not even need scientific and technology progress. This is more like the retreat of the Enlightenment. People return to the embrace of religions and theology, and human related to productive begin to regress. In the end, except for the using of technology, the whole society will retreat to a statement similar to caste society. In the story world, almost all people live in cities and speak same language. The cities people were classified even before they were born. There are 5 classes: alpha, beta, gamma, delta, epsilon, which is also 5 castes or social classes. Alpha or beta are the highest, which are probably kept before the breeding center, mature into birth, so that they can be trained to be people who lead and control all classes in the future. Gamma is an ordinary class, equivalent to civilians. Delta and epsilon are the lowest, can only do ordinary physical work and have low intelligence. Manager use test tube, cultivation and coordination. Hypnosis, sleeping therapy, and other scientific methods strictly control the prevalence of human beings of all the classes, so that they can use the hypnosis mode to implement their lifelong consumption patterns. Also, due to the abusing of soma and simply controlling of news, human society is flooded by entertainment information. People cannot get real meaningful information, and finally, entertainment themselves to death. Will it happen? Well, personally, I don't think so. I think it won't happen. Although people are constantly pursuing infinity and happiness, but only to some extent. Excessive restrictions and excessive openness are always looking for a balance. The perception of freedom is also changing and in more positive direction, like Jeff Wiley Proctor said. Freedom does not negate society interaction. It only exposes a type of keen awareness, a knowledge of the fact that we are the product of our membership in society in an almost total sense. Knowledge that we can actively strive toward freedom and that we accept responsibility for the awareness and how we choose to live. Also, this feature gives us a lesson about how to avoid from developing a dystopian society. We need to attention to the main driving mode production and reject implicit classes implementation such as the threat of educational resource. In essence, the value definition and spiritual research of people should be catch up with scientific and technological development through progress. That's my part. Then let's invite Zio.
Hi, I'm Zhao. I will introduce the laws of individualism, which means citizens will conform to uniform expectations, and the individuality and dissent are bad. In the episode, we can notice that people of the same level in the episode are wearing similar clothes, and all of them act in full compliance with the rules set. For example, Crony and Henry's intimate behavior was not acceptable, even though it was only related to themselves. It was considered as the cause of jealousy, possessive, secret, and selfish problems. So this behavior was also strictly monitored and warned. In the plot, even the birth of humans is done through in vitro fertilization technology, and each person has a hierarchy before their birth. All the people are set up to play their roles. After birth, everyone has a relative job according to their hierarchy, and people of the higher hierarchy have absolute dominance over those of the lower hierarchy. From birth, each person is divided into 5 different hierarchies, each functioning in a prescribed way. People are also instilled with the idea of all for one, one for all. People can't have their private desires. Everything can be shared, and people cannot have any privacy. And in real life, this scenario where everyone is required to have uniform expectations seems to be uncommon, but mankind did create a piece of the dystopian closed world, which is the prison. As punishment, criminals are concentrated in prisons. There, they wear a uniform, their daily life is organized, and any behaviors that doesn't comply with the prison regulations is not allowed. Everything they do every day revolves around reformation. So, to me, this uniform demand for individual behavior is unacceptable. In the plot, the story seems to be set in a bright, advanced, high-level civilization where people are strictly required to do their jobs, and the results don't seem bad. But in the real world, Once all people are suppressed from growing as individuals, and they are not allowed to think independently, the creativity of the whole society disappears. Nothing new is created, and the whole society is repressed reenactment day after day. This situation cannot last long either, because when the repression is in people's hearts can no longer be appeased, the whole society erupts like a volcano and enters into chaos and disorder. There are some implications. In real life, although not as extreme as in the plot, we should try to avoid something that can lead to loss of individuality. When expressing opinions on social media, everyone should be aware that each individual is unique and has his or her own mind. And we should never impose our own ideas on others' views and attack those that differ from our own. This is exactly what the internet advocates, refusing to become online trolls.
Hello, I'm Chen Fan. What I learned from this series is that people live in an inhuman world. As shown in this series, people's desires and emotions will be excessively restricted, and even normal negative emotions are not allowed. You can see the heroine is taking a pill, and this pill is used to eliminate negative emotion. People have no negative emotion. That sounds like a very good thing, but I think it's obviously abnormal. The alternation of various emotions is a right that everyone should have. But when a person can only have zero emotion, can he still call himself a human being? Secondly, behind this apparent joy is a decadent hierarchy and unlimited indulgence. People have no secrets, freedom, and souls. In the series, human beings are divided into 5 levels from the highest alpha to epilepsy. High-level people can become leaders or managers and enjoy glory and wealth, while low-level people can only perform heavy physical labor. The concept of the equality for all has long since disappeared in this utopia. The world depicted in the whole show reminds me of another work, 1984, a long political novel published by British writer George Orwell in 1949. In this book, technology is reduced to a tool for careerists, brainwashing, surveillance, severe penalties, and whistleblowing. People not only failed to usher in happiness, but lived in fear all day long. The utopia is full of surprise honor. And Brave New World gives a dark version that is dramatically opposite to the 1984, but achieves the same goals. Advanced technology allows everyone to be happy forever, but behind this joyous utopia is still an inhuman society. Whether it's a Brave New World or the world in 1984, I believe that these two futures are not what people want to see. I deeply understand that technology is used to assist and help mankind, not to control and enslave them. Our current technological development must take into account its pros and cons, and must conform to the principle of the normal social development, let alone making these technologies a tool for criminals. I believe that as long as we use technology reasonably and integrate it with society for development, our future can be bright. That's my part. Thank you.
Well, it's my turn now. Now it is time to give our conclusion. The fictional utopia society is basically rooted in the political principle of utopia and has successfully brought positive and beneficial results to the people. Although the basic potential principles of the fictional anti-utopia society are usually based on utopian ideas. They bring negative consequences to the people because of their fatal detect. While utopia emphasizes the equality of people's power and the liberation of human nature, dystopia predicts that science and technology will make a few population who master technology privilege may result in operations exploitation. Although everyone regards Brave New World as a dystopian story, we also need to note that both dystopia and utopia have the similar, frictional, interrelated, and absurd core. Well, for this question, it is dystopia, but the real utopia may not have anything better. That's all. Thank you.